Have you all tracked the price of your autograph tickets when you were playing to now? You're like,
they're probably still free. I think they were free then.
What's the weekend been like? Like for you both obviously to be back, I know it was exciting obviously with last year too, but what's the excitement of seeing people who I'm sure were thrilled to see both of you?
Yeah, I know it's fun coming back here. I landed at Game Straight here, but I saw Hells real quick on our way in, Donovan, Matt, just to see some of the faces from last year. Kind of reminds us the season's right around the corner, and just exciting time of the year.
Yeah, for me, it's nice just to be here again. Obviously, I was down in Miami for the last 2 years, but it's great to be back in St. Louis and just see how important baseball is here. It's something that, it excites me every day, showing up to the yard and trying to continue to make an impact in this organization.
When things worked out in Miami the way they did, how fast did Mo call and how exciting for you was that phone call kind of?
Yeah, when I was kind of told I can talk to other teams, things kind of happened rather quickly, and it was obviously great to hear from the Cardinals. Talk to Daniel a little bit, and it was something that made a lot of sense, and I'm glad we got it done, and I'm glad to be here, part of the staff.
When Victor Scott was in here, he mentioned that you were already working with him on his first step and his first read. Talk about some of the progress you've seen Vic make already, and also maybe some of the progress that some of the other outfielders that you've worked with, if you've worked with any of the other outfielders.
Yeah, so Vic's been great. I mean, it's a testament to him who he is and how hard he works. I mean, he's amazing. He has his little notebook. He takes notes, and he takes everything to heart, which is great. It's all about intent. And he's been great in the offseason. We've probably gotten together about 5 times and, just working on stuff. And he's great with feedback, and he's been amazing. And then, I got to see Jordan Walker a couple times as well down there, and just, establishing a base and just, addressing little things that we can do to get better.
A question for both of you. A big focal point of this offseason has been the new core of the next, group of Cardinals baseball. You guys were so instrumental in your own core as players. How excited are you to help form the future here now as coaches?
I think that's a big part of our job going forward is giving that young core some runway and supporting them and putting them in a position where they can succeed. And part of that's going to be on us, and part of that's going to be on them to make the proper adjustments and to go out there and put up the numbers that we think and we expect them to put up. Last year we were where we were because our offense underperformed. So there's going to be some guys that have a chance to bounce back this year, and we expect them to bounce back, and they're going to be given the opportunity to bounce back. And our job as a staff is going to be to help facilitate that.
John, Mo made it clear that you didn't want to just work with outfielders, you didn't want to just work with defense, you wanted to do a little bit of everything. How cool is that going to be to be able to work with all players?
Yeah, it's something that's for me. It was something that I enjoy. I enjoy talking to pitchers about approach and just the pitches they're throwing, or even infielders or whatever the case may be. So for me to be able to be in the dugout now and then just kind of be able to do that's great. Obviously working under Daniel with that and just helping him with whatever he needs help with. So I'm just I'm looking at myself as someone that's just here to help, and wherever I can help and have an impact, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, John's one of the smartest players I've ever been around. As an outfielder, he would help position the other outfielders. One of the best at putting himself in the right spot, getting a good jump. A guy that's hit 300 in this league, a guy that's stolen bases. So he's going to be a really big asset for us this year, not only with helping some of our young outfielders in the outfield, but helping some of these guys with base stealing, base running, hitting. Like he's going to be a big asset for us.
You guys both had the opportunity to coach or play under Tony. What did you learn from him and his staff that you are applying to your roles now? Starting with you, John.
Yeah, I think just attention to detail, right? Trying to, preparation, having a plan and getting guys prepared. The information we were getting back then, and that was before, information was easy accessible. We had everything we needed to be successful in the game, and I think that's something I learned from them is just preparation and all about your players. I mean, Tony's staff, they would get here early. Kind of the same things we do now. We learned that from the staff, and I got to spend a lot of time with Dave McKay. Later on in my career, I had him as a rookie here, and then I had him in Arizona later on. So it was always cool just to see how consistent he was, and he's still doing it, right? He's the most consistent coach probably in Major League history. So, we got to learn so many things from great coaches when we're here.
Yeah, I second that. I think it's the preparation from Tony that stands out. I think you talking to him, he would always try to be at least an inning or a few moves ahead of the other manager, and you could tell it made other managers uncomfortable because they were trying to compete with Tony and be as prepared as he was. But I don't think anybody was ever as prepared as he was in that dugout. So as a player, I tried to take that and put it into practice in my game and just being prepared. Like if you go up into the box or on the field and you're not prepared, that's when you feel nervous. Like there are some butterflies and some anxiety in this game, but if you're prepared and you've done your work, then the rest should take care of itself. So I've tried to take that into coaching as well and just focus on my preparation, and so that when situations do arise, we've made sure we've covered all the bases.
For both of you guys, kind of like Katie asked, to be a part of that Memphis Mafia that helped them win a title, and now you're charged with developing that young core. How surreal is that to you guys? Because you lived it. You know what it can do for a team when you have that lifeline coming from the minor leagues.
Yeah, I think it's something that it's an advantage for us as coaches. We're especially we're recently playing, so I think it's something that it's relatable to the players, and that's our goal, right? Is every player is different, but how do we reach that player? How do we develop that relationship and use our experiences to help them out? So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. One of the biggest things this year is just using our experiences with these younger guys to help them grow and get the best out of them. Yeah,
it's connecting and relating with players. John's going to come in with instant credibility, a guy that has played in the World Series, has a World Series ring. So that just makes it easier for him to come in and earn that trust right away. It's something that I think is one of the hardest parts of being a coach, is to build up that trust and get the players to kind of buy into what you're talking about. So for us to have been through it together in this organization, in the same clubhouse that these guys are in right now, I think it just helps us to build that trust a little faster.
Somebody told you in 2011 you guys would be on this podium right now. What would the reaction have been?
I think it would have been 50-50.
Yeah, I don't know if we had thought about that. I'm sure we hadn't thought about that part of our career yet, but I think if you would have fast forward a few years later towards the end of our career and asked us if we would have seen ourselves coaching and possibly on the same staff, I think we probably would have bet yes, because we do have a way of pulling each other back together. We did it in Arizona. We've done it here now. So the world has a funny way of working itself out.
Along those lines, you guys grew up in a culture of winning and seeking championships. Obviously, this year they're going to play a lot of young guys, which you'll help develop, of course. But the mentality is a little different than other Cardinals seasons. What's that like for you? Because you're so used to St. Louis Cardinals winning.
That might be the mentality from outside of the clubhouse. But if I'm a player and I'm reading everything that's being written this offseason, I don't necessarily want to believe that. I would like to think that there are talented players in that room, and if guys play to their potential or even above their potential and take steps forward, that there's a possibility that we're competing, for a playoff spot. And I think that should be the expectation, no matter what we have done, trade, free agent wise. Like, there are good players in that room. Now, are we going to have to do some things better than we did last year? Yes. So from a coaching staff standpoint and from a player standpoint, people have to do better. But I don't think there's any rollover expectation and that we're just going to show up and let the kids play. We have good young players, like guys that maybe have taken a step back, but we still expect a high level of baseball from them and high attention to detail and winning baseball.
There's a notion that if it's going to come together as a winning group for you guys this year, because of the talk from the outside of it's going to be a reset, maybe reduction in payroll, does that sort of, I'm curious about the energy of the coaching staff and kind of whether that puts a chip on your guys' shoulder to say, it's us in this room, it's the players that we're guiding that are going to be the ones to make this happen if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to assess it. The coaching staff, you've seen that, and we brought in Brant Brown on offensive side, and he's already gone around and worked with several of the guys, and I know there's been positive feedback. Brownie's not a magic pill. It's going to come in and solve all of our offensive issues. At some point, players have to make adjustments and look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey, what I'm doing is working, or what I'm doing is not working, and I need to, find a way to make some changes to get the job done. So, but I think this coaching staff is a really good staff, a staff that works hard and is excited to, no matter what players we have come spring training, excited to get to work and is going to have high expectations, in that room.
Is that edict from the front office almost of, hey, we're going to let these young guys have an opportunity and see what they're really made of? Is that a refreshing thing for maybe players in that position to look for the opportunity? And even as coaches, do you guys get refreshed by the idea of, this is the opportunity these guys are going to need to be able to sink or swim?
I think if you're a player, it can be refreshing, but it shouldn't be like relaxing. There should still be a sense of urgency. I mean, nobody's going to get a runway of 3, 4, 5 years to just go out and flail and struggle. Like, this is the big leagues. It's not the try hard league. It's the get the job done league. So whatever you have to do as a player to go out there and compete and help us win, like, that's what we expect, and that's what we strive to do in that coach's room.
And for myself as well, in 2023, when my first year coaching the Marlins, we had a brand new staff and just a team that really wasn't supposed to do much, and we made the playoffs. So for me personally, having been there and then now coming here and just, seeing what I'm seeing or whatnot, but, just the message is, we can get better, and that's the thing, right? We can get better and take that next step, and if the guys do that, we're going to put ourselves in a good position. And I think that's a fun challenge as a coach, right, is to bring the best out of these players and to help them navigate through this and get the best out of them to put ourselves in a position to compete in October.
You guys contemplated how your chemistry, how your relationship can help each other and how you, I don't know, good cop, bad cop, anything, the way you guys can, he probably knows what you're thinking and vice versa.
We'll let Ollie be the bad cop.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Or how that can help you as coaches.
Yeah, we'll figure out, that's something that'll happen naturally, on the staff. And, for me, I'm getting to know all these players and stuff, so he's going to be big with that. But, we've always talked, baseball and just, different things going on. Even last year, we'd have conversations on just, different things in the game, right? And where we'd see a play or something that happened and we'd talk about it. So, I'm looking forward to that and learning from him, right? He was a bench coach last year. He's got a lot of insight that I didn't get into, and then I have some stuff that I can bring to the table. So, that's the fun thing with us is we talk ball and we tell things we tell each other things honestly as well, right? If I say something that doesn't make a lot of sense, he'll give me the face of like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think that's the special thing of our relationship. Yeah,
nobody gets offended. We're able to be upfront and honest with each other, and if there's something that, as a player, if there's something that I did that Jay would question, we talk about it. And I think that's important for us as coaches now to continue to do that and to show the players that to hold each other accountable as well. Like, we can only hold ourselves accountable to a certain level. It's important to have guys in the clubhouse, in that coach's room, that can hold each other accountable as well.
1,000 components that go into a good season, but where does Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman rank on that list, especially Daniel after being around them last year? You've got to get them back on track, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, Jordan has to hit more line drives and Nolan has to make more contact, in the simplest form. Now they're going to get the chances to go do that, and they both have been in this league with several hundred plate appearances now. There's a book out on them on how to approach them, but those guys are very talented, and if they can tap into that talent with a good approach, swing at the right pitches, those guys can get hot, and we've seen Nolan carry a team, with homers, over a week stretch or whatever, and we saw Jordan that game at Yankee Stadium last year, 5 for 5 with a big homer. So the talent is there. They just need to. They're just going to need to be more consistent, and that's the name of this game. That's how you stick around, and that's how you become a really good player.
How do you help them make the adjustments when so much of this game is about failure?
I'm of the belief that a player can't truly make an adjustment until they realize they need to make an adjustment. You can hear it from a coach, and it could be exactly what you need to hear. But if you're not ready to hear that, it doesn't matter what they say. Until you realize, hey, this is not working, I need to do something different, then it doesn't matter who your hitting coach is. It could be the best hitting coach to ever live. But if you don't believe what he's saying, you don't believe you need to hear it, it doesn't matter what he says. So I've always heard and been told that you are your best hitting coach. Nobody knows your swing better than you. No one knows what you do well better than you. Now, is it our job as coaches and is it the hitting staff's job to kind of point out some things to you and give you an approach that they think serves you best? Yes. But if you don't buy into it, it doesn't matter what they say. So it ultimately comes down to the player, and the player has to buy in, and our job is to get them to buy in however we can get that done.
As the front office has seen some changes and is transitioning to a new front office in a way, have you seen any changes that reflect on your job or expectations of you, especially as you go into spring training and the demands of a bench coach?
So it's been pretty fun to be a part of the process, getting to know Surf and Larry Day and some of their hires that they've brought on board. They've done a great job of like keeping us informed in the process, having us be a part of the process, and they're very respectful in the traditions of this organization, but they also have some ideas that they've seen be successful in their past. So I think it's an exciting time to be in this organization and kind of watch these guys work and reshape how we look at player development. And it's going to be fun to get to spring training, and there's going to be a lot of new faces, new coordinators, new front office staff, and so it's going to be fun for us to bring those guys on board, get them acclimated, hear what they have to say, and just watch them have an impact on player development.
John, can you tell the story about Victor? He said you had him working with a baby glove and took one of them off the glove into the mouth. Does that really help the hand-eye coordination, that smaller glove?
Yeah, I think it's something that helps out. But like I said, he's been great. Everything I've thrown at him, our conversations have all been great, and he just wants to be great, which is, as a coach, that's what you want, right? Daniel says you want the buy-in, and Victor's all in, and that's all I can ask for. But yeah, we've been doing different things to challenge him, and he's got great hands, like we've seen. And like we said, we've worked on his first step, his routes, and stuff like that. So I'm excited for him to get to continue to work with him in spring training, where we have batting practice and he can really get after and do things. So, but he's on the right path, and he's all in, which is what you want from your players.
First workout with a new guy, were you holding your breath until he didn't spit out any teeth or anything?
No. He was all right. That one was on him, yeah. So I had my little glove, and I said, hey, why don't you throw this out there? But yeah. Thank goodness it wasn't too serious. So.
Daniel, you talked about that motivation, sharpening, accountability needs to come within the clubhouse. One of the guys that continuously gets his name brought up and does that is Brendan Donovan. Can you speak to what his leadership has meant during your time here as the bench coach?
Yeah, I think Donnie is like the ultimate professional. He prepares every day. He plays a multitude of positions, did whatever was asked of him last year, and went out and performed as well. So the more you do that in the clubhouse, the more guys see you do that, the more respect you get from those other players. The easier it is for you to say something when you see something that doesn't seem quite right, or to commend somebody when they're doing a good job. Like the more that you go out, the more that Donovan does what he does, the bigger role he's going to have as a leader. And obviously we have Goldie's shoes to fill in that leadership role, and I think Donnie is going to do a great job sliding in there. He's not Goldie, but he brings some of the same characteristics and personal qualities that Paul did.
Are there any other guys in the clubhouse you guys are looking toward this year to step up into more leadership roles?
It's hard to name names and force that on people. Some guys are ready for that, and it just happens organically. Some guys aren't ready and takes some more time. But I don't think it's smart to sit up here and name names and put that pressure on people. I think you get to spring training and you kind of see how it shakes out. But there are a few dynamic personalities in that room that guys seem to gravitate towards, and you could see some of those younger players taking more of a leadership role.